Hi guys, my name is Dr. Rocker and this is Lawrence.
Hello.
And what will we draw today, Lawrence?
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight, that's right, David Finches' Moon Knight, and I will show you how it's done. Right, Lawrence?
Yes.
Okay, so grab a pencil and a piece of paper, cause now it's time to draw. And if you should be interested in comic book stuff, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the post notification bell so you won't miss out on any of my future tutorials. But now, let's draw, right?
Yeah.
And we are starting with the line between the shoulders and the line from the middle from the body. The round things you can see here are the shoulders, and I also draw in the head already. The head and the line for the eyes. And then we need to define the torso. These are the breast muscles, and that's where the rib cage is ending. And you can see, since this is very much foreshortened, the head one time down is where the stomach muscle begins, the second one already. So keep that in mind. For the feet we just need very simple shapes like that, and we're already drawing in the arms and the hands. And again, since the arms are foreshortened quite a lot, they are almost circles, so draw them a little bit like balloons. One balloon for the upper arm, one balloon for the lower arm, and you can see very outstretched fingers from the hand. And the same on the other side. The hands are pretty big because of the foreshortening, because they are coming towards us quite a bit. But you will be able to see that better later on. And here we define the cape. Pretty simple shapes on both sides, not much to talk about that. Just follow the lead here and you will be fine. And when we are done with all that, we are erasing everything down a little bit. First, I'm using my knitted eraser, as you can see right now, and then I choose the other eraser. That's like an eraser pen, where you can get rid of some lines that are not so easy to be erased. And now we are already going in with a little bit more of the details. The first thing was just a gesture drawing, a really basic gesture drawing, and now, as you can see, we're already defining the head, the eyes are coming in, and he has some sort of a hood, which is the spiky thing we did at the beginning. And yeah, this is the mouth area already. It's a very simple shape with Moon Knight, because he has a mask all over the face, so a little bit like Deadpool, which is quite easy to draw. What's not so easy is the thing we are doing right now, because the hood is one piece with the cape, and we have to make sure that the folds are where they need to be, where they belong. But it's a little bit harder than the other stuff, but it's still manageable. And as you can see, I'm drawing directly on my Strathmore Bristol 200 series paper. Usually I use my 2B pencil, which I'm using right now, but usually I use him on a cheap piece of Copic paper, and then I transfer it to the actual piece of paper I want to do the actual art on, which is a Strathmore paper. But in this case, I want to ink this today, so it's not the big problem to use my 2B pencil, which is my most beloved pencil because I'm not pressing very hard, and for smaller details I also need to use a harder pencil like an H or an 2H. But like I said, just for constructing stuff, I like the 2B pencil the most, and it works. But you have to be quite careful when you're drawing on your Strathmore paper already, because if you press too hard you might have problems erasing those lines. Okay, and now we are already at the right arm, the right hand. This is the forearm, and there are some muscles in the forearm, but not many muscles to be seen since this is so much foreshortened. But still, some are there, as you can see. And I'm always trying to get rid of wrong lines ASAP, because it's easier to imagine everything and to spot other mistakes when the drawing is clean. At least for me, that's the case. The hands look a little bit difficult, but they are not really difficult. Just try and do the same I do right here. They look pretty cool, really cool hands, but still not as hard as you might think. So just really give it a try. You will be able to do this drawing, no worries about that. Just follow along. And all of this is, well, at least the part we're doing right now, all the construction is almost in real time. Not one-to-one, I sped it up a little bit, but just a bit. I don't want this video to go too long, but it will be a longer one. I want to try this out. I want to see if you like that with a drawing session like that, so you can really take in all you need really good. If you have more time when watching me drawing, that might be helping. But let's see, let me know down in the comments if you like longer videos like that. Of course, it's more work for me if they are longer, but all for you guys. Yeah. Here you can see sometimes I have to erase bigger parts of the area I drew before, but yeah, and I think even the bicep is a little bit too small. I guess I will correct that again. But yeah, that's just the way it is, especially when you're trying to draw in the style of someone else. And even though David Finch's style is very similar to mine, because I learned so much from him, still I would do lots of things different, and I have my own handwriting, so I really have to concentrate a lot on what I am drawing, because I can't just draw it out of my head. I need to draw it like David Finch drew it, because that's the tutorial. I want to show you how to draw like David Finch, because he's doing such awesome drawings, and I know you guys appreciate the effort and you want to be able to draw things like this Moon Knight, which he drew really great, by the way. So Dave, if you see this, you did such a great job actually on all your drawings, but this is a really cool one. And I thought, since Moon Knight will be a TV show, maybe, I guess it's even out already. I haven't seen it yet, but I will for sure, because Moon Knight is a great character. It will be an awesome show, I think. I also like the actor, and I have some comics where David Finch drew Moon Knight, because he had a really cool run on Moon Knight. He's even talking a lot about his run on Moon Knight on his Monday Night Draw. Really cool drawing sessions every Monday at 8 PM Eastern. Yeah, and he's telling us about his Moon Knight run every now and then. I guess he likes it quite a lot himself, but it's really great. He really did an awesome job, and it's very fitting for him. It's very brutal, and he looks cool. And even though Moon Knight has a white costume, he managed to make it dark enough in his way, and it's really pretty cool. What we are drawing right here is the belt buckle and the belt, and you can see already the foreshortening is quite big on this one, but also working amazing. You can see he really jumps at us, and yeah, you could get frightened just by looking at that. And you can also see we are almost done with the most important parts. The anatomy is in, just some more stuff and some muscles from the legs, but they are not as much. And I think you really should be able to draw along with me right here, because this video is, like I said earlier, almost in real time. And yeah, so feel free to draw along and send me your stuff on Instagram. I'm always interested in what you guys come up with. It's really cool for me to see, and you send me a lot of stuff which I really like and love, and I will try to answer every message and even give you tips here and there, what you could improve or what I think is wrong or good. You just need to give me time, because Instagram is going a little bit out of hand. I'm getting so many messages, but so keep that in mind. Please don't be mad at me if it takes a while for me to answer, because there are quite some messages on my Instagram account. Anyway, back to the drawing. Please make sure to draw the legs like I did. The first one is pretty big, and the second one is bent back even more, his left leg, and it even looks a little bit funny if you take a look at it right now, but once it's done, it will look amazing. It's not a stomp, it's really his leg bent backwards. You cannot see his calves because they are behind the upper legs. Now we have to put in some more details. This is, I had some troubles with these. These are the rings from his forearm, and they need to be quite thin, way thinner than you would think, because they are foreshortened as well. And it's like drawing a building. If a building is foreshortened, you have sometimes there's just a line left for a whole window, and the same goes here. So make sure that the lines from this, it's kind of an armor, that these lines are really quite narrow to each other. Then you're good. And since this is Moonlight, the half moon on his chest needs to be there, of course. There are also some half moons on the belt, but this is the big one, like the bat from the Batman. Pretty simple actually. Yeah, not much to say there. And I guess that's it. Now we are using a 0.1 fineliner from Micron. Same stuff David uses. I wanted to be authentic as possible, and when you do these lines, try to be as sketchy as you can. Or, well, maybe not as sketchy as you can. It depends on how you usually work. I'm a very clean artist, so I need to be extra sketchy for these. I need to remove the stick out of my bum and be as sketchy as I can, because this already gives the whole drawing a lot of life. And since we want to draw like David Finch, that's another thing we need to consider, because he's drawing very sketchy, but still quite clean as well. It's a good mixture. And as you can see, from now on I sped up the part quite a bit, because it would take too long you don't need to draw along with this in real time. You can take your time and you can pause the video. You don't need to watch me filling in those strong blacks or just tracing everything we just did. Not necessary. You can see enough from the movement in the speedy part as well. What's very important is to move your paper around a lot. I didn't do that, because I want you guys to see the whole process properly, and if I would move the paper around, especially when I speed up the video a little bit, then you would get dizzy and you can't see it properly. But it is a pain to draw like that, so please move the paper around as much as possible. That's way easier for every step, especially from now on. The strong blacks we are doing with a Pentel brush pen, also the same like David Finch uses. It's a very good brush pen. He's drying fast enough. You can work easily with this one, but still make sure to try to, when you're right-handed, let me put it this way, when you're right-handed, begin on the left side, because then it's way more likely that you won't smudge everything. But like I said, this one, especially the pencil brush pen, it dries quick enough, so this shouldn't be a problem anyway. And you can see, and it's very important to keep that in mind, the light source is coming from the upper left corner. So be sure to be aware of the light source all the time. Which means the darkest part of the drawing is the right side, because there are way more shadows than on the left side, because the light is hitting there more direct. And there's also a second light source coming from the right side, which produces a slight rim light, especially on the dark area, which brings a great contrast, and you can see that as we speak. It brings a great contrast from the deep shadow of the cape to the body, because then you can see the rim light really nicely, and that makes for a great effect. And yeah, what's also very important is that you will be able to have reference where just the strong blacks are done, because then you can just do that. Just focus on the drawing you have before you, which is the one with just the strong blacks, and then you try to just draw the strong blacks as I did, and you don't have to figure out what are just the strong blacks and what are the hatching lines, because that can get very confusing. And now we are using a Tombow pen, the blue one, which is the one with the hard tip, Tombow brush pen, and with this one we are doing the line weights. Mostly I can say do them a little bit rough, which means not too clean. Again, we want the sketchy part of David Finch. And overall we can say the lines are starting from thick to thin and go thinner towards the light source. And since we are beginning with the hatching process now, I want to show you in real time some movements and patterns David Finches uses when he's doing these lines. He's doing a lot of these eyes, small eyes, like a dot and then a small line. And overall he's using a lot of harsh movements like those. Start really fast and have an abrupt stop. When you do them like that, the whole drawing will look even more Finchy, which is what we want today. Or any day, because he's great. And now you can see I'm starting with the cape. It's always good when you're right-handed to start on the left side and vice versa. So that's what I'm doing here. And the other thing is the cape is not as important as the other stuff. So I want to get into the hatching mood. So I always start on areas which I think are not as important. He's using, again, the Tombow brush pen, the hard one, the blue one, for lots of his hatching lines, and also the 0.1 fine liner. You can use whatever you want, but those are the materials he uses, and it also depends on how big the drawing is. You can go even further, and it also depends on how hard you press. It's very similar to the pencil situation. If you are pressing quite hard, well, you shouldn't use a 0.2 fine liner or something like that, because those might be too thick lines then. But it's easier if you don't use too much pressure. Overall, I would say really try to be very floaty when doing those small lines. Because, yeah, if you press too hard, it's just a thick line which isn't looking quite nice. If you have troubles with that, you can also use a 0.05 or even a 0.03 fine liner, which are also available from Micron and also some other brands. And they also work quite good. And you can even with those go from thin to thick, working really nice. I actually like to use a 0.05 and a 0.03 all the time in my drawings. I didn't with this one though, because I wanted to stay as true to David's art as possible. but like I said, you can use whatever you want because it also depends a lot on how you're using your tools. What can I tell you about the hatching lines? Most of them are very short, so it's quite easy. You don't have to do a lot of very long lines, which can be hard to round around a muscle with a very long line. But like I said, these are mostly quite short. Do them quite a little bit jagged even every now and then, and you can fiddle around. You don't have to do every line exactly like I did, or even like Dave did on his drawing. You can also Google the original image, no problem. I just took one I found on Google search. And since Moon Knight is a very rough creature, he doesn't use an iron to iron his clothes, if you know what I mean. So you can do some rough patches right there every now and then. And yeah, there's more shading with lines in this area you're seeing right now, the stomach muscle area. And you can see I'm always switching between those two tools, the Tombow pen and the Micron fine liner. Sometimes I feel like the Micron is a little bit too thick. It also depends a lot on how the pen is at the moment. If he's very new, the Tombow brush pen has a very thin and very spiky end, which produces thinner lines. If it's a little bit older, like the one I'm using, they are getting a little bit blunt at the end, which means it might be a little bit of a problem to produce a quite thin line. And the same goes with the 0.1 fine liner. It's also an older one, and sometimes if they are getting older, you can do quite thick lines because the tip might break a little bit, which can produce nice effects, so you can use that to your advantage. But yeah, you have to be aware of your tools, and then it's working. We are just doing a little bit of cross hatching, as you can see right here, and there are a lot of those little eyes I was talking about earlier. And yeah, just like that we are done, which means all we have to do now is to sign the piece. What I did is I signed it with Rocker after Finch. I guess that's the way you should do it, because then you know it's drawn by Rocker, but it actually belongs to David Finch because he came up with it in the first place. I hope you like the drawing. Okay guys, here we go, David Finch's Moon Knight. This is a really cool pose. David Finch did a great job when doing this. I had a lot of fun redrawing that, and I hope you guys will as well. And this is it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching and all your support. Please, if you would, share this video on social media. That would help me out a lot. Thank you for that. And also don't forget to subscribe and turn on the post notification bell so you won't miss out on any of my future videos. And let me know down in the comments, I know it's a lot to do, but still let me know down in the comments which character would you like to learn how to draw, or even from a special artist. Just let me know and I will consider it. And now I want you to go and watch this video. That's where I show you how to draw David Finch's Wolverine, just a head sketch. You might have seen it already. If you did, watch it again. If not, take out a pencil and draw this one as well. And also don't forget to check out my Instagram page for all the reference. And now I will see you there.